Hello, good morning. It's Susie Walker here from Psychologies magazine. I am very excited for Mental Health Week, our final day of Mental Health Week, to be talking to Freyja Hanstein on the impact of food on mental health. Hello, Freyja.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so delighted to be talking to Freyja. Freyja has a very moving and dramatic story where she has been inspired to create a amazing app called the Wholesome World App, which is all about eating for health, for our immune systems and for our mental health. But Freyja, tell us what inspired you to create this app.
Well, I think I went through brain cancer. Let's just get that out there. That's like the big hit.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd be able to do that because I had previously lost my husband to cancer. And I thought I'd have a good knowledge about everything, be able to manage anything. And it was actually harder somehow for me to be able to do the research and everything like that. And so the app is there to kind of fulfill or give you understanding about what helped me and what has helped many people around the world, a little bit of research in both mental and physical health.
I mean, you talk about a little bit of research, but you've got a Bachelor of Science degree, and what I understand is that you did lots of research around the connection between mental health, because you had brain cancer. So it was like, what can help me, what can help me, what can help me put my brain back together, and also the knock-on effect of your immune system. And the NHS is recommending your app to anybody who has cancer. So you've been kind of given the stamp from the NHS, which is amazing. But what kind of research did you find about the connection between food and specifically mental health?
Yeah, well, the first book that I ever read, that was called Anti-Cancer, and it's by Dr. Servan Schreiber. And really funnily, this morning I looked up both him, because I just wanted to remember a couple of quotes, and I looked up Psychologies magazine, and Psychologies magazine was bought by the Servan Schreiber family back in like the noughties or something, or the 90s. And I was really surprised, and it just shows me that how wide those ethoses spread. And he basically goes exactly what I had to focus on. He was the base foundation, and he goes lifestyle, and he goes nutrition, and then mental health is within lifestyle, and then he goes, there's medicinal stuff as well. You just need a quick glance at that and know how to understand it. So that step for me was the most important, because our NHS system is amazing, but the fact that they've got such little amount of time means you can't just prod them, ask them random questions you come across. So for me, I found out that I needed to know what to ask them. So there's this website called PubMed, and I found that PubMed. Yeah, you can just Google PubMed and it will come up, or it's on the app, it's on my website, it's on my Google, it's on Instagram, all of that. And it shows you the most popular scientific documents, and it shows you the most looked at, and it shows you the newest and everything like that. So that was my starting point. And then to look at that as well, there's things like TED Talks, which start with showing you affirmed information about actual science, about lifestyle, how they've researched these different things, and that can be adapted to your life rather than a scientific strategy as such.
Sure. So what's so powerful is that you're translating the science and in ways and literally putting it onto the page for you can drink this smoothie or eat this food, and this will help you. What surprised you about the research that you did?
I think that it's two of the strongest things are mental health and physical health. They're meant to be above nutrition. The easiest one to put into your life is nutrition, because you can start with one meal, it's this, it's that. It's not like taking yourself to the gym. It's not like opening your heart and your mental health issues, which is the biggest step I find. Definitely the biggest step. Even when I've been through everything with my husband, I found it so difficult to even speak to my family. You open the door, you crack the door, and they go, "Oh, it's okay," kind of thing. And so that's so tough. Whereas you feel that mental satiation as well from having a good breakfast, and that's it for the day. You can still be you for the rest of the day, and it's just a really nice startup. Yeah.
So it's a kind of, like you say, there's obviously our physical health, our mental health, and nutrition fits into all of those. And it's an easy thing to do because you can sort of set yourself up. It's an easy baby step to support yourself. What sort of things would you, if someone was coming to you for the first time, maybe they've had a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis, or even a cancer diagnosis, and you said, right, this is everything I need, you need to know. These are the 5 things you need to do, or 3 things you need to do. What advice would you give us, apart from download the Wholesome World App? What else do we need to do?
For the first step, I'd just say, do you know what it is, and do you know why it's there? So those 2 are like the strongest. If you don't, you need to be able to either start.
What do you mean it? When you say when you say it,
you're saying mental health. If you're saying mental health stress or issues, or you've got to kind of decide what it is, whether it's been actually like medicinally affirmed as a condition, and then secondarily, like, where does it come from, which is easier than the first one. So both the TED Talk and the medicinal documents that are online, they can help you do that, as well as actually going to go and see a doctor or going to a charity group that is within that realm. I think that was the hardest step that I ever took, was actually going to a charity group, and I actually stumbled upon it. It's the biggest. It's hard enough to speak to your parents or your best friend or someone like that, because you don't want to focus your life around it. But the second you go to a community group, everyone's already like that. You don't feel weird. You just suddenly feel that it's normal. So if you go 80% that way, which is massive to normal life, you're kind of still shelled by everyone else's strength that have been there already. So
which charity did you group? Was it Maggie's? Was it Maggie's that you went?
There's Maggie's.
I ran the
I went to.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
I'm really
fan of Maggie's. Massive fan of Maggie's, because they do amazing support, don't they, for people who are going through a cancer. And as you say, it's not just the physical stuff, it is the mental health too. I'm a huge fan.
It is. They've got such beautiful retreats that make you feel like you're not stuck in a medical system as well. They've got those little retreats and they seem like resorts, despite the fact that they're in a tarmac ground. Like there's one in southwest London, and you go in and it just looks like a blank wall all around, and you go in and there's a little central garden, there's a big kitchen, there's loads of Macmillan information, there's been like, again, NHS authorized. Got cooking classes, they've got psychologists, they've got so much, and you meet other people and feel normal when you do it. So I think like realizing that it's normal is a strong thing.
Yeah, I think for you especially, I mean, you are a young woman, you'd lost your husband, so you were grieving and you were struggling with your own cancer diagnosis, and that's a very challenging set of circumstances. So to kind of, when you go to Maggie's, I think, or to go to any kind of organization where they're kind of dealing with that kind of level of trauma constantly, it's a bit like, come on in, and they're not freaked out by it. Whereas maybe in the normal,
like a huge sponge. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's a cookbook that's written in affiliation with Maggie's, and those 2 people that wrote it, Catherine Zabilowitz and Fran Ward did the recipes, and Catherine did all the nutrition information. They're the ones that reviewed my app front to back, and I've fallen in love with both of them. They're so open and strong. So yeah, my app's been kind of really, really well looked into, affirmed, double checked, triple checked. I've had nutritionists, I've had friends from back in the day that have really gone up in the science side of things, that have looked at things and given me recommendations in that field. And then I've got a friend who's like going around the world cooking for fancy dinners, and another one who's doing that kind of nutrition as well, really refined for her children and her mental health actually as well, which is hitting her in her physical health. So that's Lottie and lovely other friends as well reviewing it. So I'm really lucky, and the fact that I had these connections from biological sciences degree, and which I converted to law afterwards, and then worked in marketing. So you can see all the kind of like pushes that you find on some kind of web search. I want to just go, no, what is actually dictated into science? What is correct? What is black and white? Let's put it there, and then let's adapt it into our lives. So you kind of actually put some kind of.
I mean, and again, thank you for doing that work for the rest of us. It's really great. So in terms of the things that we should do, what should we be, if you give Dave, what should we eat, not do? What should we eat? What would you recommend that if everyone just did this one thing every day, or drank this one thing, or ate this one thing? Any suggestions?
Yeah, I like this. This is one of my favorite, simplest things, because new age food is just not got any nutrition. You can generally eat really similar things that are kind of, let's just say, paleo style, taking away new age carbs and new age sugar. Because let's just say if you want to sugar something, let's take a simple step and go, right, I'll blend dates in instead of actual white sugar, because you've got nutrition within them rather than just that peak. And it's also with sugar, you get with new age, it's broken down so quickly within your body. You get this immediate peak and then you're exhausted for ages. Whereas with those kind of, let's say, older sugars, like the aged ones, you get a really long, slow breakdown. And so your energy actually kind of equates across a few hours. And that's the same with carbohydrates as well. You want to actually get nutrition and not have the peak. And I mean, if you're doing sports and that sort of thing, you're using all that energy immediately, and then you can take some more after. And that's what, when Lars was sick, he would do that. He would go, right, I'm actually going to run right now so that I can eat an ice cream because I'm gagging for one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sort of thing. And I think those are the most important, just feeling satiated. And just, if you've got cancer, then if you have too much in your body for that little peak, then your body uses a little bit and then there's loads left over immediately as well. And that's how the cancer can actually take the energy from your blood, and then it uses it, it grows. Whereas if you actually are able to flatten that out and just actually only have enough for your body for a prolonged period, that means that there's not so much left for the cancer and it can grow slower. And there's lots of research towards that as well, which is really just a quick satisfaction for you to have at home if you're going through something like that. And it works for diabetes and loads of other health conditions as well.
Yeah, so it's basically coming off sugar, white sugar, and just focusing on the whole foods, isn't it? That's, I mean,
white and the carbs as well. Yeah, so let's say pasta. Just a little step is to have whole wheat pasta.
Yeah, sure.
And then you can feel really satiated and alleviate your headspace, things like that.
Yeah,
they all overlap.
Yeah, there are so many fantastic recipes on the app. I mean, it's funny. Before I came on, I was just looking at the different recipes, and I was photographing them on my phone. I'm like, that sounds nice. It's really great. Freyja, thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling your inspirational story. I mean, many people who had suffered or gone through what you've gone through would perhaps just slump in a heap. But for you to be able to use this as a project and to help others, it's really inspirational. So thank you so much for creating this app. I'd recommend that everyone, the NHS have said this is a great app to use. So whether you want to boost your mental health, or if you're struggling with immune issues, just have a look. Just if you just want a healthy lifestyle, have a look at the Wholesome World app. It's fantastic. We can't recommend it enough. Thank you, Freyja, for creating it.
Over this period while we've been stuck in our homes and had our whole lives restrained a bit, I put the app so that it's buy it for life, as it's going to be next month again a monthly purchase. So if you do get it now, it's $3.99 or $3.99. It will last for life. You'll just get a little sign up thing over that you've done it already to prolong it for life when it switches back again. But yeah,
a lockdown opportunity here for us all.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that just means that it will donate to charities as well and stuff like that.
That's great. Well, thank you again for your wisdom and your inspiring story, Freyja. Lots of love, and I hope we will have you in the magazine soon.
Well, thank you so much, and have a lovely day, all of you.
Bye bye. And this was